So I'm Ezra Radoff, also known as Julian Radoff, some circles. I'm the founder of RBS Therapy Dogs, and I am an AAT facilitator. This is my ranch. Most of the animals are upstairs. Little disclaimer, I am not a psychotherapist. I do not diagnose people. I have other people for that. That's one of them. Hill's a psychotherapist, licensed with a social worker, and then he'll tell you more about himself later. There's other stuff he's done too. And then there's another psychotherapist, PhD, on my staff, who was not here, but should give you some talking points. My cousin, Professor Terry Carrillo Eisenberg, who was this San Diego State. I have certifications with the PET Partners, University of Oakland, finishing that up in a couple weeks, and then the Wild West Farm here in the Showroom. The opinions I'm giving you are not my own because I don't feel like I should form opinions. I'm basically editing a whole lot of information on the internet and giving you advice to parents in a form that can digest. That's the purpose of this. So that's the disclaimer. So I'm going to do a little introduction of what ADHD is. Anyone have any familiarity with it? Some? I'm mostly going to focus on children, but if I don't mention it, if you take the H out, you have basically ADHD for adults, which is the hyperactivity part goes away eventually. It's just they grow out of it. It's a very interesting kind of thing where the children have hyperactivity and they're calmed down by a stimulant, and the stimulant has a different effect on adults. It's very interesting, but it's not important. So we'll start with the DSM, which is the diagnostic manual. The DSM definition of ADHD. Anyone heard of DSM? About the DSM? So this is the fifth iteration of it now. And DSM defines ADHD and all other psychological situations, conditions, etc., as listing symptoms. It's not like having a broken leg. It's not like saying, well, the symptoms are pain and black and blue, and the cause, when we see the x-ray, there's a break in the leg, and then we have symptoms we treat, painkillers, and a crutch, and then the actual tikkun for the source of the pain is to fix the leg with a cast or surgery or something like that. So the DSM doesn't work that way. DSM describes symptoms, and this is the bad news of the talk, by the way. I'm starting out with the bad news. Not just because I want to do bad news and good news, but also because we want to define our terms first. Like any good presentation, we want to define our terms first, right? So, to make matters worse, the DSM describes ADHD as a class of 14 different types of symptoms. And you have to have 8 of them to qualify as ADHD. And I don't think any of them are mutually exclusive. I mean, I don't think any of them are requisite. I don't remember. But the point of it is, either way, is that you can have 8 symptoms and somebody else can have another 8 that are quite different set of symptoms and still qualify as ADHD. And that's not a very satisfying answer to a lot of people, right? There are subtypes of ADHD. What is it, Mikhail?
I only got 7, but the therapist told me that I have ADHD.
Right. Right. Okay.
Tell her you got chipped. He wants you on the extras.
We went through them, and I said it was about 6. And she's like, the 7 we disagree with, but we did one of the tests. I have the test in one of the books. I have some books over there. I want to take a look. There's a more expansive test that has 100 questions in it too. The point is, I'm I may not be correct, but I'm accurate. The point is that it's hard to say what ADHD is. It's hard to diagnose. A lot of doctors, all of them, in fact, that I think that I've talked to or read, say that it's massively overdiagnosed. So my question is, who's doing all this overdiagnosing? Everyone says it's overdiagnosed.
The teachers.
Hillel said he was going to talk about that later.
Yeah, I'd be happy to hear that.
Right. So it doesn't concern itself with causes and descriptions of what's going on in the person, as far as hormones and brain chemistry and neurobiology and stuff. Another problem with the DSM is that they change their definitions periodically, and that sort of reduces their credibility in a lot of people's eyes. Dr. Russell Barkley would say that the term ADHD is really a bad definition anyway.
That at its heart, in its soul, it is a disorder of self-regulation, not one of attention. I think the biggest problem we have had as a group in convincing the general public about the seriousness of our children's disorder versus autism or schizophrenia or the other disorders is the very name itself is trivial. ADHD. Go to Starbucks. Good God.
There's no real known cure, although the cause now is fairly pinned down. However, unless you're going to be part of a study, I don't think if you have a kid with ADHD, you're going to be going to get his brain scan. So I don't know if you're going to be able to recognize it that way anyway. So you're stuck with all of these symptoms. And the problem with ADHD also is that, unlike a psychosis where you have maybe hallucinations or some other kind of thing that is completely out of the normal spectrum of behavior, all the ADHD symptoms are within the spectrum of regular behavior. I'm using the term spectrum loosely, by the way, because we can all lose focus, we can all have better focus in some conditions than other people. So all these terms are relative, so it's really hard to pin down. And I'm going to talk about, the model I'm going to use. I'm not going to show you brain scans and talk about the different areas of the brain and the interior cingulate and all these different terms. But I'm going to describe it more like a computer model because it might be a little bit easier. You guys are in tech. No, okay, well, I think it'll still be a little bit more concrete to deal with. So, why do people get ADHD? How do they get ADHD? You can find any answer you want on this. So, you can find purely environmental, purely genetic, biological, foods, toxins, trauma, that it doesn't exist, that it's a gift, it's not a condition. And then there's a lot of just plain information and misinformation in the public. And like Dr. Gabor Mate, who I'm not so sure about, it's society's fault, which is very convenient for everybody. He says, why is there such an explosion of cases if it's genetic? Genes don't change over a generation. But first of all, that's not true. Secondly, it's not an accurate test.
Now just move back one step.
Well, there is a theoretical possibilities for cataclysmic changes very quickly in genetics, but that's a really pretty advanced science.
And just go back one step.
Yeah.
You're assuming that there's an explosion of ADHD in the last generation.
Yeah.
What's the evidence for that?
What's the
Evidence.
Why does he say that there is?
Based on what are you saying? I feel that.
I'm not saying it.
I feel that, and but I don't know of any solid evidence.
I don't know the percentages, but it's been highly diagnosed.
Yeah, the question is
it's a
relatively type thing, right?
But
It's a type thing, and that it wasn't diagnosis or because there were more cases. That could be because it wasn't. I don't know when it was. When did it actually become disease? Was only relatively.
It's really a long time ago, actually.
That it was actually a
what's it called, ADD?
That's syndrome, whatever you want to call it.
In the 1950s, it was tended to be called hyperactivity. And the term ADHD began to emerge in the 1970s. And then the introduction of Ritalin, a methamphetamine class of drug, ended up having this unusual paradoxical effect on a certain number of children who were hyperactive and hard to manage in classroom.
That's what I was saying, that's the word I was looking for, paradoxical. Because, and everybody else, it makes them higher.
So methamphetamines are I call them the street speed, because it tends to make many people alert and active and restless and so on when people would take it and stay up for hours and so on. But with this class of people, it had this unusual effect. Ritalin had this unusual effect of making them able to focus and reducing the hyperactivity and so on. So it was one of the great psychopharmacological success stories. And so what happened is it got widely prescribed for many behavioral problems that were way outside the spectrum of ADHD, and its efficacy went way down with other kinds of disorders. So that was part of it.